Also, just wanted to show you what I do use the powder coating for. I make these weather vanes, and the powder coating seems to stand up a lot better than the paint. So I use the powder coat to keep them good in the weather. And I'm just making too many of them, and it just doesn't make sense to just have an oven. There's a couple of the weather vane stands that I'm waiting to send in. And after the airplanes are cut out, I get all the mill scale and most of the dross off by putting them in the muriatic acid bath. And that's muriatic acid in there. You can see I've got a couple pieces in there soaking still. I like to leave them in overnight, and that gets most of the dross off. Then I put them into the passivating tank. I've got this mixed with baking soda and water. You can see it was a little bit cold last night. It's about 30 degrees right now, even though it's sunny, and you can see the ice here. And so what we got to do, this is one of the airplanes. You can see the ice there on the tail. And here's another airplane, both Corsairs, and I need to get the water off those, and then I'll put them in the oven so that then they'll be ready for blasting. What I'm doing with this step is getting all the water off so you don't get any flash rust. And I'm holding it with these clamps because that's awful cold on the hands. From the acid, and the baking soda should have neutralized that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in the oven so we can bake all that, any kind of impurities out. Well, I just wanted to show that on the back side of the piece, soaking in the muriatic acid gets most of the dross off. Not all of it. I don't have my plasma cutter dialed in just perfect. A little bit here. I'm going to have to, it just peels right off the fingernail. But I'll have to put a sander on it before I put it in the blast cabinet. Now this is what I do to the airplanes after I've got the water off of them. Put them here in the oven so that they can bake any kind of impurities out of the metal. And I'll leave them sit in there for an hour or so at powder coating temperature so that there's no surprises, and it's a good quality product. And here's the 4 airplanes that's been cut, acid washed, passivated, baked, and sanded to clear the dross on the back. Now next step, we'll go ahead and load them up into the sandblaster. It's a Scat Blast 960 DX I got from Truman or Tip Tools out of Canfield, Ohio. And I'm using their, I want to say Speed Magic. Let's see what it says on the box, on the bag. That's glass beads and aluminum oxide. It cuts really nice, and it leaves a real fine finish. You can see how fine it is. It'll leave a nice satin finish on it. Doesn't embed into the metal, so it's easy to blow off before the powder coating. Well, I'm not sure how well this is going to come out because there's a lot of reflection. My light, or my glass, is getting a lot of sandblast grit on it, and I need to put a new one in there. So I'll do the best I can. For anybody wearing headphones, there's a headphone warning because it's going to be kind of loud once I turn the vacuum system on. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and blast these airplanes. nice satin finish. Where there's a nice satin finish on there, nice and fine, the powder will be able to flow out real nice on that. And this is my minimalist powder coating. I guess you could call it not even a booth, it's just a place where I can spray. Powder coating booth is in the works, but this will suffice until I got one. I'm using a red line gun, and I've got a ground rod driven right outside the door where I ground my parts. So I'll go ahead and get my mask on and then get these airplanes powder coated. Now the target thickness on this is about 2 to 2.5 mils. We can't check it till it comes out of the oven, but just past performance gives me an idea how much I need to put on there. So I'm pretty close right now, I believe. We'll check it when it comes out of the oven. And so next step is into the oven. Well, I've got the parts in the high-tech powder coating oven. And it's important not to start the time for the curing until the parts reach the temperature, the curing temp. For this paint or the powder coat, it's 400 degrees. The powder coat color I'm using is blackjack. So let's see what we got here. Here's the parts, kind of smoky. And not quite yet. So we have to let them marinate a little bit more, and we'll check them again here in a couple minutes. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. We'll check it again. See what we got here. It's getting pretty close. 398. We'll check her just a couple minutes, and then we'll start our time. So we'll set the time for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes we'll pull them out. Okay, the 10 minutes is up, and we'll go ahead and pull the pieces out and let them cool down. And there they are, and we'll let them cool down and then take a look at them and see if we got enough powder coat on them.